Hello, everyone. We're live, and welcome to episode 6 of Where Heartbreak Feels Good. Uh, Joining me today is my co-host Edgar.
Hey, I don't know why, but anytime that we're live, it seems like I'm always wearing the same fucking shit. I need to wear different jackets. But hey, we're back for another episode.
And in the words of Soups, he's back. Preston Moore.
Back. He's back. He's back.
He's back. Yeah. Hi, I'm back.
Been a while since we've. It's been. I don't think we've actually done an episode with just us three. So that's
Yeah,
a first.
Yeah, this might be the first one.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a fun one. We're talking about what we watched in the month of April. So anything from like all of the we had a lot of new releases this month, so they cover all of those and a lot of the rewatches we're doing, all of the first time watches we've seen like from older movies, so it'll be a good time.
Man, I'm looking at my list. I can't believe the first thing that I watched this month.
Okay, so where should we start?
What
was there-
What was the first thing you watched this month?
Yeah, what was the first thing? Let's start with that.
should we take the trash out of the way?
Was it Morbius?
Netflix's no, that was
Oh.
that was technically the 31st of it.
That's right. We talked about it last month. Yeah.
Yeah, The Bubble.
The
Netflix,
Bubble's the
and
number 2 for me this month, so let's talk about a little bit about The Bubble by Joe Apatow.
his best creation, Mod Apatow, and what's her other name? Iris. Whatever.
Iris Apatow.
Iris Apatow. Yeah, it's definitely a movie. Some people definitely spend money on it.
Is it though?
I mean, they spend more money probably on the cast than the actual
That's
movie.
true. Yeah. It's yeah. So it's pretty bad. It's like
Which
easily the worst movie I've seen this year.
Yeah, which I guess the purpose of the movie is to be bad, but even then, it's just like.
Is it though?
I mean, it kind of is, but not in a good way. like, if almost at times it feels like they tried to make a bad movie on purpose to be like funny or like so bad is good, but it's just bad. It's not.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think Judd Apatow was thinking he was creating a great comedy, but it's not at all. There's some weird fucking scenes and moments in this movie. Preston, have you seen this?
No, I don't
Keep
I
it
don't
that
watch
way.
Bad movies on purpose, like some other people here. I very
Yeah.
much like I will only watch a bad movie if I just am really curious about it. Like Morbius.
That
I
was
knew
me
Morbius
with this
would
movie.
be bad, but I was like, well, I still want to see what happens, even though I know I probably won't like it. So The Bubble, though, I was like, I don't even know what it's about, and I don't care about what it's about.
Yeah,
Like,
I
was so uninterested.
I only watched it for 2 reasons. One, I was pretty drunk that night and was bored. And 2,
Out of
Daisy
White Claws.
Ridley. Yeah, a little bit more than that, but Daisy Ridley, another reason why I watched it. She was great. She was
Well,
great
see,
in
like
everything.
if I was like a Daisy Ridley super fan, I probably would have watched it. But like
Yeah.
I like Daisy Ridley, but I'm not like I need to watch everything she's in
That's
kind of
me.
fan. Yeah.
It's not worth it. Playing the movie
No.
for like less than a minute.
It's a good scene though.
Is it?
I mean, it's
Where's that
entertaining.
deleted scene though? That's behind the scenes scene that was going
Yeah.
everywhere on Twitter. It's not in the movie.
It's not, yeah.
But yeah, like you can almost feel like these actors are trying, but like halfway through, not even halfway through the movie, they just gave up. They're just like, we're here. let's cash in this check.
It's probably like the prime example of like the most egregiously wasted cast in a movie, like in recent years for sure.
Yeah, like the perfect example of everything that's wrong with like Netflix and their like business model of everything throwing everything against the wall and see what sticks. Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything really good to say about this movie. TikTok dance, I guess, at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, but there's also a dance scene with some dinosaurs that like me drunk as fuck at the moment was like really questioning. our all like existence. It's like, what the fuck
Yeah.
was that scene?
I wonder how this movie would be like watching it like high, because I feel like you would be
Yeah.
confused if you're like imagining it or is it actually happening.
Right? Yeah. And the ending is like so weird. Is
Hmm.
yeah, I don't watch this movie. It's not worth it.
Yeah, the probably the person that they spend more money on like getting into this movie was probably James McAvoy.
Right? What a weird cameo too.
Hmm. Like this
Came
whole
out of
like
nowhere.
yeah, like this whole like almost like harasser, like super like
Yeah.
I don't even know how to describe it. But yeah, not good. Don't watch it.
Not good.
Um,
Moving on, my first actual watch, like that I loved on Letterboxd, and I did talk about like my big thing this month was getting through more of my Star Wars rewatch. So my first allotted film was Revenge of the Sith.
oh,
So
nice.
great movie. Bumped that up to 4.5 stars because each time I watch that movie, it is better.
Where's on the ranking right now?
It's let me check.
4.5.
But yeah, yeah, it's fun, and the editing in that third act is fucking incredible.
4.5.
Yeah, I mean it's
like
number
it,
7
but-
on my ranking.
Dang.
I love Star Wars, man.
I can tell. And I mean, I do too, but 4.5. Wow.
Yeah, I used to. This themed film was good, but like every time I've watched it since a few years ago, it just better for me.
Yeah.
It's aged well for me. I've come around on
Yeah.
it a lot more than I used to.
Yeah, I'm excited to rewatch. Eventually, I don't know when, but rewatch like the entire saga that I have, like the 4K discs, like just to see like how they pop, especially for the prequel, since
Yeah,
given
the prequels
the
actually
time-
look really good in 4K, at least on Disney Plus, at least.
Yeah, I've heard the Blu-ray that they released with the collection for the Skywalker saga. That like transfer was done by Fox before it was like
Oh, interesting.
yeah, before it was sold to Disney. So they're the ones
Yeah.
who actually made the transfer for the 4K. At least that's what I've heard.
Yeah, so continuing with my rewatch, I got through the Clone Wars, finished that. Fucking amazing show. At least I mean, there's some like ups and downs. I didn't watch all like every single arc, but I watched through like most of the big arcs, and I really love the Obi-Wan undercover arc. That one's really fun. Obviously, the bit of Ahsoka arc where she leaves, great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been like I've been
yeah.
like on a rewatch of the Clone Wars for like the past 2 years. Barely like on season 2 still.
Yeah.
I think I watched like this month like the episodes where there's like some like spies within like a spaceship for like Satine. Like they're going somewhere, I don't remember where.
Yeah.
That was a cool little arc. I like it. I know everybody hates on the Clone Wars like the first 2 or 3 seasons, but I think they're fun.
They're fun, yeah.
I like all of the Clone Wars. I watched it when I watched the Clone Wars. I watched it during quarantine, like peak COVID, and I paid attention, but I did it like I watched it while like playing video games, basically like all day long. I had video game on my TV and then the Clone Wars on my laptop right under it. So I just like glance like a lot of the time. So I didn't like watch it very intently the whole show, but no, I love it. And I still remember that even like watching it in that way, like not hardly paying attention, but like paying attention less than, I would have otherwise. Like I still remember, certain episodes and moments were just like so good. Like the one, and obviously season 7 I love, but the one that sticks out to me from like my first watch was the episode is his name Pong Krell, the really bad guy. He's like the same.
The Bar arc.
Yeah, I think so.
The one that betrays
He
them.
turns on the clones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that is so good. That's like
It's a good
I remember
moment.
watching that and just being like, "Oh my god, this is like peak Star Wars. Like this is awesome. This is
Yeah.
incredible. This is why they should make Star Wars TV so you can do like tell little stories like this."
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Also,
And
the
a lot of others.
the Lawless, that episode where like Satine
Oh, yeah.
dies and
Yeah,
Savage and Maul against Palpatine.
Yes.
The whole episode is incredible.
that duel. I remember when I watched that duel. Also, I was
Yeah.
like, "That's one of the best lightsaber duels in Star Wars."
It's really
Yeah.
good.
I love it.
That shot of like the hangar opening and Obi-Wan
It's so
lightsaber,
good. Yeah.
it might be my favorite. Not, I don't know if I would consider like my favorite, but it's definitely top 10 best shots in Star Wars.
It's really good. So yeah, I finished Clone Wars season 7 too. I didn't watch the Bad Batch arc because I'm not personally like that big into Bad Batch. But I watched
Honestly,
the
I don't remember
Ahsoka
how it ends.
season 7 or the Bad Batch arc.
No, the Bad Batch. Like I don't know. I don't remember how it ends. I remember enjoying the show for what it was, but
I didn't
don't
finish
remember.
it.
Yeah.
The Bad Batch and Star Wars Resistance are the two things in Star
Okay,
Wars.
Bad
that I
Batch I agree with you
finished.
on, but Resistance is really good. You
I'm
do-
not saying that I hated either of them or that they were even bad, but they're just the two things in Star Wars that I like started and I got into it and I was like, I just am not invested. Like it was not clicking for me. It wasn't hitting the way I wanted it to.
Okay.
Yeah, I was invested in Resistance, but I never actually watched the second season.
You need to watch it. It's good.
Yeah.
I think I watched the whole first season, not gonna lie. But it just never hit for me. I don't know.
I love those characters so much. I miss them. But yeah, so yeah, the Sota arc in season 7, really good. But obviously Siege of Mandalore, the finale to Clone Wars, is one of my favorite things in Star Wars, and it's like every time I watch it, it's unbelievable how amazing it is, honestly, on every level too. Like the music, the animation, obviously, the storytelling.
That tracking one of those episodes, I don't remember which one exactly, where it starts at the beginning after like the aftermath of the battle, and the music, it sounds very like Blade Runner-esque. It's fucking
very
good.
like ominous and like it builds up to Order 66. It reminds me kind of the season 6 finale of Game of Thrones. Different music. The way it builds like is similar to like the moment in that episode. But yeah, Siege of Mandalore is phenomenal, and I'm so excited. There's doing a screening at Celebration. That's like top of my list for sure.
What season is Siege of Mandalorian? Remind me. I know y'all just mentioned it. Did it?
The finale. It's the
okay.
finale of Clone Wars.
Oh, okay.
The last four
episodes. I get confused on like because I've seen it all, but
there's a lot of Mandalore in Clone Wars.
Well, and just like the titles of like individual arcs, because people will say like the title of the like an arc or a title of an episode. There's just so much in the Clone Wars that and Rebels too, honestly, but really the Clone Wars where I'm just like
Siege of Mandalore is
I watched it all.
Ahsoka vs. Maul, Order 66, the finale.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good shit.
I love that. Yeah. That's like top tier.
And so I finished Clone Wars. I watched the first episode of Bad Batch just because I think that's still my favorite episode of that series. And I think they
did you finish Bad Batch?
I did, yeah.
You did.
But I think it's all right. I couldn't really get invested into any of the characters except for Omega. I think she's great, but like all the other ones just felt too samey to me.
They all felt like, I guess this is the point with the clones, but they all feel like part of the same one singular character. And
well,
like,
yeah, that's the point. But like,
yeah,
most of the other clones have like distinct personalities. But I felt like all the Bad Batch were just too similar to each other, and they weren't given enough to do in the series besides Hunter and like Omega.
Yeah, Hunter's arc is pretty good.
Yeah,
from what I remember.
And Crosshair, obviously.
Yeah.
Crosshair was like the best part of that show.
That's why the first episode
the parts
was
that
like
I watched.
The one that's worth watching, or like rewatching for me, because it's like what, an hour and a half basically, 70 minutes.
Yeah, it's long.
Like that, I wish all of them were like that because it really gave the show like time to breathe. That's was one of my biggest problems with the show because like it just felt like more so than any other of the Star Wars shows is like Monster of the Week.
Yeah. Did you watch Rebels, or are you into
I'm
process?
just finished season 1 of Rebels in my rewatch.
Oh, okay, nice.
Started season 2 the other night. I can't say enough things about Rebels. It's my favorite Star Wars. I
Yeah.
love it so much. And
I love Rebels.
season 1.
But
What were you saying?
love Rebels, but I've always wanted to go back and rewatch it, and I've never gotten the time because that's like one of my favorite like Star Wars things like ever as well. Just because of how well it understands like the themes and the core of Star Wars. But yeah, like I really need to do a rewatch for that.
Yeah, every time I go back and rewatch it, I'm so surprised how well season 1 holds up. But everyone loves to rag on it, but I adore season 1 and the themes it brings forth, and like just the small moments we get with the Ghost Crew and their like the forming of that family. I think it's amazing, and it's just so good. So I'm very excited to continue that rewatch.
Is the Ghost better than the Falcon?
Yeah, it's more of a character.
Interesting. I like
mean, it was.
I like Rebels. I have always liked Clone Wars more.
Really?
But yeah,
Hmm.
as a whole.
I get that because they're different shows, but I just
Yeah.
like the more linear nature of Rebels and the fact that focuses on one family.
I liked the I don't know, I liked the prequel nostalgia of Clone Wars. Like that got to me. Especially like
I did that,
because
yeah.
I watched it all for the first time in 2020. Like I had never seen
Really?
Yeah, I hadn't seen Clone Wars or Rebels until lockdown, and then I was like, well, shit, I got nothing better to do. So that's when I finally had the time where I could like justify watching such a long show. But yeah, no, I like Rebels a lot. I like Clone Wars better, but I think they're both great. I love, and I'm very excited for, and I don't care what anybody says, I'm very excited about Grand Admiral Thrawn in live action, regardless of who plays him. Even if they cast Benedict Cumberbatch, I would be excited, even though
Honestly, that would kind of slap.
I think it would be great. It's
People
like
love
the
to,
most
ride on
popular
it 'cause
fan cast.
It's
Yeah,
basic
but,
fan
like-
casting, but like he would crush it.
And he just looks the part so perfectly.
Yeah.
Like his character design looks like Cumberbatch. I don't really care who they cast as long as he's like good in the role, because he's such a menacing villain. Like I think he's so cool in the way that he just like is absolutely horrifying in every way, but like physically. Like he's not this like
It's very
giant,
like
menacing.
Yeah.
It's all in the writing. Like it's all in
mentally.
yeah, it's all in the way he talks. It's all in his tone. It's in what he says. It's just like, I don't know. I've always been like really impressed by that.
Mm-hmm. I've never been like a huge Thrawn fan, but like I'm interested in see where they go with it in live action.
I'm a very big Thrawn fan. I
Yeah.
love him.
I do kind of
So,
subscribe to that idea. It's not my idea. I've heard it from other people, but like of like whatever Disney is building up to with this like live action shows, Mandalorian, Ahsoka, etc. That it's gonna build like to like almost like a Heir to the Empire-esque type of
Yeah.
arc with Thrawn.
I wouldn't hate that.
Like, yeah, it would be cool.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, also in this rewatch, I watched Solo, which fucking slaps. I love that movie. It's just such a fun adventure movie, and the cast is amazing.
Solo is my Rogue One to my Twitter.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah,
But
I think it's far superior to Road One.
yeah, Solo is just such a like. I know like other movies, especially recently with the sequel trilogy, they've kind of like tried to capture that like adventure, almost Indiana Jones, especially the last one. Rise of Skywalker kind of tries to do like Indiana Jones, like explore, like find this thing and use it to do whatever you have to do. Like Solo for me really does give you like that Indiana Jones vibe, like in Star Wars.
Yeah, definitely. It's a fun time, and of course, we all love Emilia Clarke. We all love Kira. Yeah, best part of that movie. Really hope she comes back soon.
I don't know how you create such a fucking interesting character and don't fucking use her. Like how many years?
Exactly,
has
it
been
makes
now?
no sense.
Like 3-4 years almost.
Yeah, 4 years. I think this month, basically.
Oh yeah, no, huh?
Crazy.
Damn, they really did that movie dirty by releasing it between Infinity War and Deadpool 2.
6 months
I don't know.
after Last Jedi, also.
That's the only, like, literally, that's the reason that it bombed. It wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah, like I know everybody likes to blame like The Last Jedi for it to like the reason as to why it bombed, but it's not that.
Infinity War was there at the time, because this is like pre-Endgame, pre-No Way Home, pre any of that. Infinity War was the biggest movie event. I mean, box office, obviously the biggest since Avatar, but like culturally, probably the biggest since Empire Strikes Back.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, it
Yeah.
was it. It was It was
Or
all anybody
Titanic.
could talk about. Yeah,
It's pretty good too. But yeah, like it's.
But and then putting Solo there
A
with
month
Deadpool
after.
2 also right there.
Yeah.
And
Stupid.
it
There-
just
I
was doomed.
feel like I'm missing another third movie like in between.
Jurassic was
that,
Jurassic
but
World then too.
maybe.
A week
Jurassic
or two
World
later.
was June.
Yeah,
that
Yeah,
year.
so like a
still.
couple weeks after.
I'm curious
It was-
now. Then I see.
It was doomed. And it you know, the thing is like not only, you know, then it also had the whole like controversy with The Last Jedi. I say controversy, but like, you know, the portions of the audience, like the Star Wars audience that was less interested in Star Wars for a brief period of time
Yeah.
after The Last Jedi. Like, I don't think that was as big. It wasn't as big of a factor as everybody likes to say.
Holy
But-
shit. I just looked up it's gross. Domestic 213 million.
Yeah.
Like total.
Entire run. Yeah, total.
What about
It's so
worldwide?
sad.
Worldwide 392 million.
Fuck, that actually
That's a
hurts.
huge bomb. Yeah, especially with like all the reshoots. I'm sure like it was close to 300 budget wise, 300 million. Or
I also
was
just
it?
think-
Probably 200 million.
I think there's also something to be said for like, and I really like, you know, Alden Ehrenreich.
He's
I like-
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I love him in that movie. I think that the general audience probably
Was put off by it.
well, and Han Solo maybe shouldn't have been the first character that they did, because
Yeah.
it's arguably, and I say arguably on purpose, but it's arguably the most iconic casting in Star Wars.
It's I think the most popular
Harrison
Star Wars
Ford.
character.
Yeah, and Harrison Ford, you know,
Yeah.
as the character, like his portrayal of it is so iconic, you know, that it's
It's hard to separate them.
I wouldn't have chosen Han Solo for the first
Yeah.
spin-off.
The only
Um,
reason they did was because Larry Kasdan, like that was his passion project, basically.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
and I get it, but and Rogue One was a completely separate thing. But for the first spin-off that was tied to pre-existing characters, Han Solo would not have been the first one that I did. Lando might have made more money, to be
Mm.
honest, because he's less iconic. He's more of a like a secondary. Or
I think
tertiary
Solo would have
character.
fucking like gone really well if like we said if it was in December 2018.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I think the
That's
number
crush.
one thing is the release date.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Honestly, I think it would have been a pretty fair fight between Aquaman and Solo on December.
Oh, I think it would have
I
demolished.
think so
Aquaman.
too. I don't know. Aquaman made a lot of money.
It made what over $1 billion, right?
Ocean
still-
to Ocean.
I think it's still the highest grossing DC film
Really?
Yeah, it is.
That made sense over like
in I guess since the
The
Dark
Dark
Knight.
Knight Rises. Yeah.
Hmm.
What did
Wait,
Batman?
might I? The Batman or which
Yeah,
one? The Batman. It's like almost at 800, I think.
that's
Yeah.
good. Wow.
Batman versus Superman crossed $1 billion, I think.
The Justice League.
think no.
Just bro, you don't remember those days when that movie bombed? That
Did
was
it
worse than Solo.
700 million wasn't that big of a bomb.
Which for what?
Road Wide? Wait, no, never mind.
Batman versus Superman was their big one, and it was also the big one that I think kind of damaged public interest in the DC universe.
I don't know about that, but it's like the expectations of like expecting for that movie to $1 billion is probably another reason why it hurt. It hurt it because it's like it's unrealistic expectations when it's literally your second movie into your universe. But like, yeah, sure.
It was
it's
also in
Batman and
March.
Superman, but
It was in March too.
Justice League only made like 100 million less than BVS. Worldwide.
That is weird.
yeah.
That's really weird.
Because
That's
Worldwide
surprising.
Justice League was
Who watched it?
657 million. Then BVS was 870 million. So I just 200, but still.
Dang. I really thought BVS hit $1 billion. Anyways, I feel like we're way off topic.
Yeah. Anyway,
None of us watched BVS in April.
So yeah, that basically wraps up my Star Wars rewatch so far.
Yeah.
Still watching the Rebels. I started Jedi Fallen Order. I don't think they'll finish it before Celebration, but I'm going to soon. Great game.
What was your first watch, Preston? Or do you
My
remember?
first watch of the month was Sonic the Hedgehog.
Hey,
Nathan, I agree.
Nathan, did I?
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah,
too.
my first watch of the month was Sonic the Hedgehog.
The first
In
one?
in
Rewatch,
preparation for Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Was it actually the first one? Didn't you do like a three-header? Like
A what?
didn't you do like 3 movies in a day?
That was with Sonic 2, right?
Yeah, Sonic
Yeah.
2 was one of them. That was later on. My first
Was
movie
it-
of the month was Sonic 1.
Oh,
That was on.
Yeah, do your
April's
fat
month.
straight, Edgar.
stupid.
So what do you
yeah.
think? I rewatched it this month also.
I still enjoy the first one. I enjoy them both. I think I let my expectations get a little high for Sonic 2.
You were championing the fuck out of Sonic 2.
Well, and I'll
Most
tell you why.
anticipated movie of the year.
It's because it seemed in all the marketing, it seemed to me like it was going to be a little bit different from Sonic 1. Like the biggest issue that I ever
It
had
was.
with Sonic 1.
Let's talk about both of them right now. Because
I will. That's what I'm doing.
Sorry for interrupting.
My biggest issue with Sonic 1 is that it
The human
Just-
characters.
it doesn't lean. Well, the human characters are like terrible, but it doesn't lean into
You don't like James
Um,
Marsden?
pride and joy of Stillwater, Oklahoma, baby, where I lived for 4 years. It doesn't lean into the campiness enough. I don't think it doesn't lean into the cheesy jokes, just the corniness as much as I wanted it to. And whenever it does get into that, it's like, yes, that is exactly like that makes the movie good. And Sonic 2, I thought it seemed like was going to just go balls to the wall, 110%, all in on that. And it kind of did, but at the same time, I found myself bored a lot of the time because it was just so
Really?
much exposition. There's so much
Yeah.
exposition in that movie. It is just
They-
lore on lore on lore.
They
And-
really did a great job at
That's
hiding the
true.
wedding subplot because that's nowhere
Yes.
in the trailers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'd have no idea. And like it was a lot of the movie. It's
Yeah.
like a whole like 1/3 of the movie.
Yeah, when they kept
was-
going back to it,
the
it was like,
wedding.
why? But then
every
it
time
comes
they
around
went back
and
to
then
Hawaii,
for
you're
that
just like,
stuff,
oh my
so.
god.
It comes around
And then they
though,
connect
in a good
it
way.
so that it makes like gives it a reason to exist, but that doesn't make
But
it.
yeah,
any,
it
that
should
doesn't
have
make it
been
good.
like that much.
They gave it a reason to exist in the movie, but that doesn't change the fact that it shouldn't that it wasn't enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
So
And outside of
Yeah.
that, there was just so much like lore building and exposition to where I got bored with it. And that bummed me out because I was looking forward to it. And I'll still be first in line for Sonic 3. Because I think that they're all fun. Like I have fun with it, but I didn't have as much fun with it as I thought I would.
Do you know who Shadow is?
What?
Do you know who Shadow is, or whatever the fuck his name is?
Shadow
I
the
know who
Hedgehog.
Shadow the Hedgehog is. He's like a
Dark Sonic.
yeah, pretty much like a military created dark Sonic. I think it's
But
cool as hell.
Sonic 1, it's alright. I tried rewatching it, couldn't really get through it, so I skimmed through most of it. Honestly. And,
How do you skim through a movie?
put it on fast forward.
Oh, you did?
Interesting. Yeah, bitch.
I don't understand that logic.
Fast forward to like a few minutes, watch some of it, then fast forward again.
That's what I will be doing with Sonic 2 when it comes out, and they take me back to Hawaii every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That whole portion of the movie felt like a bad SNL sketch.
It was so bad. It's just like it really would be like, all right, we're going. It just like took the
Yeah,
movie
I
two
agree
steps
with
back
that.
every time, and it was so painful.
The only joke in that section that kind of was funny was him trying to like take the ring from her to like throw it to, because they had like a mix up between the rings or whatever. That's
knew
the
that
only
would
thing,
happen,
and that's
though.
it.
Like whenever
Yeah, I mean,
asked the ring bearer to see the ring, it was like you clearly know exactly what's going to happen from that moment.
yeah.
And then like 30 minutes later when it happens, you're like,
I mean, we have to think about that these movies are made for kids. Like they're very
Exactly.
much made for kids. And that's what makes them fun, honestly. Like I was surprised at how much I had fun with Sonic 2. I think
it's better.
it's a fun time, especially with like Tails, the inclusion of Tails and Knuckles, but and the third act is like I really was having a time during that third act.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think,
Yeah.
and this is something that I talked about whenever I saw Clifford the Big Red Dog. But like, if it's not made for you, it's not made for you. Like Clifford was bad, but at the same time, there were a bunch of kids in that movie theater that were, having the time of their life, and I could tell. You can hear them laughing. And Sonic the Hedgehog 2, I don't think it was bad, but it just wasn't hitting for me. But I knew that like the rest of the audience was loving it, and so it's like it's one of those things where you're like, if it's not for you, it's not for you. But some of it's for you, and I don't know. I can appreciate it. I can appreciate it for that, and that's why they make so much money. These Sonic movies is because they know their audience and they know what they want to be, and they nail it.
Yeah.
Do we want to get into my second watch of the month? Which
Let's do it.
Pretty sure is gonna be another one of Person's Secrets of Dumbledore. Let's
God.
go.
Yeah.
Fantastic Beast Suite.
I haven't seen this, so I'm gonna let you guys talk.
Okay, so let me explain something. I had to fucking
Let me
watch.
explain something.
I had to watch the first two movies in order, because I had like a fucking assignment about it. And then
First and foremost is one more thing. We have to say this. Fuck J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, that too. So I had to write something about those two movies, so I had to rewatch them last month. So going into this new one, I was like, I don't know, maybe giving it a little bit. I was being too nice, maybe, because Crimes of Grindelwald is just probably one of the worst blockbusters ever made. Like, I don't know how
horrible.
I don't know how that got like passed. Like, I don't know how many drafts JK did, but probably was just
It's
like one and a half.
bad. Shockingly bad. It is so bad.
Yeah. So going into that theater, which I mean, it was like a fan event, so everybody's like really into it or whatever. And then they gave us little line. Where is it? What are they? They're too far. I'm not gonna get up. But they gave us like a Secrets of Dumbledore like hat, like a poster. I have the I officially now have the Elder Wand on my possession because of that fucking movie. So I don't know if they.
Motherfucking chill.
They
So I
gave
don't
you
know
a
if they-
wand?
Yeah, well, give me a minute. Let me get it.
That's like a really nice thing to give out.
We gotta. Yeah, that's crazy for a fucking
Wow.
movie screening.
Yeah, that's
And
really
it-
nice.
And it doesn't feel cheap. It's like a legit like replica.
You had to pay for
That's
this
sick.
screening though, right?
Yeah, but I didn't pay for it because I just used my points from AMC. So there's that. But yeah, so yeah, I don't know, maybe they bought my review or whatever you want to fucking call it. I was paid by Warner Brothers, but hey, I don't know. I had fun with this movie. I enjoyed it. I had fun for what it was.
I didn't.
Which is not saying much because like yeah, it is increasingly better than Crimes of Grindelwald, which again it's not saying much, but I don't know. I had a good time. It actually felt like a movie, and not like a fucking bullet point list from the author of the movies, of the books. So that's where's Nathan when I need him?
I know.
So
You what, Preston?
Sorry, my friend just FaceTimed me and I'm trying to tell him I cannot talk on FaceTime right
Okay.
now. Secrets of Dumbledore. Look, you know, because I rewatched the first two as well. Just out of curiosity, you know, it had been a while. And the first one, you know, I think the first one's solid. Like I enjoy the first one. But the Crimes of Grindelwald was just, I mean, when I say like straight up offensive, I mean that. Like offensive to the world that she had created, you know, 2 decades ago.
I thought you
to
meant
the
like our world.
No, yeah, I mean she's offensive as a person, obviously, but like the movie itself, like you can toss all the controversies aside. It's awful. She did a horrible job. Like you don't even have to think about the real world stuff to hate her.
Was it mostly her
Because
writing,
it's so
or
bad.
was it like everything else too?
Yes, no,
Yeah,
it is the
or-
writing.
Is
The
it?
writing is the problem in Crimes of Grindelwald. It's so bad, and it's like that's why I wrote in my review. I just said like controversies aside, like she took a massive dump on everything that she created 20 years ago, and like it pisses me off. That movie makes me so mad to even think about.
So I'm just gonna give you an example, Josh, of how bad that movie is. You remember Professor what's her face? Professor McGonagall from
Yeah.
the Harry Potter movies? Okay. So this is not according to me, this is according to JK's books. She was born in 1935, right?
Okay.
Okay. Crimes of Grindelwald takes place in, I want to say 1927 or something. Not only is she alive and she's a professor at Hogwarts, they do a flashback
Wait.
to when Newt was a student when he was younger, and she's also a professor in that. So
The timeline
How-
is
What? When
It's
does
all
Harry
over the
Potter
place.
take place? Like 1960s, 70s.
70s, I want to say 70s, 80s. I think
Wow.
I could be wrong. I actually never read the books. I've only seen the movies. So
it's a disaster. I wrote in my review, I said this is a travesty for Harry Potter fans that's only comparable to something like The Rise of Skywalker, but even that is an insult to The
Hey
Rise of
now.
Skywalker.
Hey now.
I let me finish. Jesus. I said like even that is an insult to The Rise of Skywalker. Like I felt bad even writing that. I was like, this is so
Okay.
bad. And I hate The Rise of Skywalker. I don't like The Rise of Skywalker at all. But I'd watch that 10 times before I ever watched Crimes of Grindelwald again. It was awful. Anyways.
Is it like
And also,
top
there-
10 like worst movies you've ever seen?
yes, he commits no crimes, Josh. He doesn't commit any
There's n-
crimes. He doesn't kill
Wait,
anybody.
there's no crimes in the Crimes of
No,
Grindelwald?
it's not. You'd think it'd be a movie about him like going on a killing spree or something like that. No, he doesn't. He just kind of he talks for most of it. He
closest,
kills people in the very first scene.
yeah, the closest
That's
thing
it.
that he ever, the closest thing that he ever gets to actually killing somebody is ordering somebody else to kill a baby, and that's it.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. The biggest crime he committed was vaping where it may not have been legal.
Wait, this one was Johnny Depp, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So he's played by a different person each 3 of his movies. Is that correct?
yeah.
Kind of, yeah, technically
Which
speaking.
I don't know how you cast Colin Farrell and say, yeah, let's switch him to somebody else.
Yeah.
But even
The
if it was
problem
like,
with it was Colin Farrell played so Josh in the Polyjuice Potion in the
Kind of, yeah.
Harry Potter movies. It's where they like can shapeshift into someone else. Yeah. So Colin Farrell is someone who Grindelwald has taken over
Yeah.
to be to like spy.
So basically,
on,
like
on
what
Main
happened
Street.
with David Tennant and was that Goblet of Fire?
Yeah.
Where he
Yeah.
shifted into
Yeah,
that
Yeah.
professor?
So like Colin Farrell was playing Grindelwald as someone else. So at the end of the very first movie,
Okay.
they reveal
It's
who
Johnny
Grindelwald
Depp.
has been all the time, and it was Johnny Depp. So like,
Okay.
but for all intents and purposes, in terms of the performance and the
But
script,
do they explain the Mads
They're played.
Mikkelsen recast, or do they not mention it?
no,
they don't even bother.
it's not mentioned. And here's the thing, because I haven't even gotten to Secrets of Dumbledore. Mads Mikkelsen, I like him. I did not like him in this movie. I think he's phoning it in.
I've
And
heard
good
he's
for
great
him.
in it though.
I disagree.
Here's the thing about Matt Mikkelsen. Even if he's like phoning it in, he's still good.
Yeah.
I don't think he's bad. But the whole time I was just like, he doesn't give a shit about this.
Yeah.
He's doing his one blockbuster for this 5
You
years.
could tell on the
Yeah.
interviews and stuff.
It Johnny Depp and Colin Farrell were both better in that part,
Mm.
I think. And I just like, again, I really like Mads Mikkelsen. I just think he didn't give a shit. And honestly, like, I didn't give a shit watching. So
Yeah, if I was him, I wouldn't give a shit either. But back to like the Secrets of Dumbledore, I will say something about that movie is that I at least appreciate that they actually tried to incorporate the Fantastic Beasts into the main plot, because the last 2 movies were like, they were just like the side plot of the movie, even though they're like in the fucking title of the movie.
yeah,
They actually tried to like, they actually gave Newt a reason to be in this movie, other than unlike Crimes of Grindelwald.
they
So,
intertwine the Fantastic Beasts storyline pretty well into the whole Grindelwald and Dumbledore thing, which
Yeah.
that was the issue with a big issue with the first 2, even the first one, which is probably, a good movie in my opinion, is you've got like the Fantastic Beasts stuff, and then you've got the Grindelwald stuff, and they're not connected. They're 2 different. You can make 2 different franchises off of those 2 stories. You can make 5 films off of each of those, but they don't connect until this new one. But even then, for me, just the plot of Secrets of Dumbledore is just like, I feel like it could have been better. I wasn't interested. I think, I think it's hard to follow up a movie like Crimes of Grindelwald, a movie that is just so bad. Like, it's hard to follow that up and make a good movie without totally retconning most of it, undoing a ton of the stuff that they did. But they don't do that. They try and make it a continuation. They don't do any like total retcons, which just makes it's so hard to continue such an awful movie. I think they did the best that they maybe could, but I still didn't love it. And this is something we texted about, Edgar. Jessica Williams as Lally,
my beloved.
She was awful. Like, just bad. She was so, like, she was so bad. And I don't know if she was directed to play the character that way, if like David Yates like wanted her to recite every single line with the exact same cadence, but it just came across as it just was annoying. Like, I was sick of her. I didn't care about her. She was annoying.
She was like acting like she was in a completely different movie. But you know what? At that point, like, I'll take that over Crimes of Grindelwald. I'll take the ridiculousness of her character over anything in Crimes of Grindelwald.
I'll take Secrets of Dumbledore over Crimes of Grindelwald 10 times out of 10. But it doesn't.
It's also wild because like you and I rewatched the last two movies in preparation for this, and her and the other characters that's like Newt's assistant, they're like in the Crimes of Grindelwald, but I don't remember shit from their scenes. They're like in maybe one or two scenes, apparently, allegedly, I don't know.
Who?
Lolly and the Newt's assistant, like the redhead.
I do not remember Lally at all.
Yeah,
the
I don't
other
remember
ones.
her at all.
I know Newt's assistant has been around. She was given an actual role in this one, but
Yeah,
and all of that, those two. I would say Lolly, whatever. She probably wouldn't have even been in this movie if not for Catherine Waterston
yeah.
speaking
It
out
really-
against J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, it feels like they wrote her part like to replace Catherine Waterston.
Yeah, she's reduced to it. I mean, and it's so sad because the chemistry between and just the dynamic between Newt and Tina is like one of the biggest driving factors of that first movie, and kind of a driving factor in the second one, even though they write it really horribly. It's still interesting. Like, it's still maybe the only thing that's interesting in Crimes of Grindelwald is them, even though it's still written poorly.
And they're barely in it.
Yeah. But it's still like when you have that moment between them, you're like, oh, now I'm interested in this. But it's really, I don't know. It's really sad that they just took her out of the series, because I feel like it made Newt a worse character. I feel like it obviously made Tina a worse character because she wasn't in it at all, except for a cameo. And it's just like, it's a bummer because that was one of the driving forces. It was one of the only things about the previous two films that was consistently like pretty wonderful and pretty like enjoyable to watch and like engaging. And they just cut it. And that sucks.
Yeah. Well, before we move on,
I've heard Jude Law's good in this movie.
Yes.
Oh, he's fantastic. Yeah.
I heard he's like the best part.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yes. And he was written really well too. I felt like I was watching Dumbledore, which I didn't really feel that during Crimes of Grindelwald as much, but I really felt like I was watching Dumbledore in this movie.
The way that he's able to deliver lines almost exactly like what's his face, Michael
Gambon.
Gambon, yeah. The way that he's able to deliver, like just like the way that he talks is like really fucking like you totally forgot that it's Jude Law.
Yeah.
That's
He's it's funny because I didn't really like the movie, but he's one of my favorite performances of the year because he's really good, and his writing is really good too. If there's one thing that movie does right, it is him. Like, he kills it. So I really enjoyed it. But all in all, I mean, it's the same thing as the other two. It's just another reminder of like, I just feel like you watch these movies and they just remind you of how good they could be. You just watch it and you're like, oh, this could be something else. This could be better. Like, there's something good. This is an idea that was good, that was executed poorly to me.
Do you think if they stuck solely just focused on Dumbledore and Grindelwald for the whole trilogy, it would have been better?
I think if they had focused on one or the other, and not tried to tell two stories at once, because it was stupid to bring in the Dumbledore and Grindelwald stuff when your first movie is all about fantastic beasts. Like, keep it that way, or at least is branded and marketed as all about fantastic beasts. And I think I'm interested in both stories. I just don't really. It's really hard to merge them. And I think that they kind of got themselves in a bind by titling the franchise Fantastic Beasts and then deciding that what they wanted to do was tell the Grindelwald and Dumbledore story. But it's still titled Fantastic Beasts, so they still have to keep Newt around and give him something to do. It's a mess. Do
you think that was a pivot? Because did the first one do good, like, box office wise?
I think it did okay. It did fine.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just
saying, like, if it didn't, was the pivot to like just focusing on Dumbledore because of that?
Look, everything wrong with this franchise, you can just blame it on JK because it's all JK. Like
it is, and that's the thing is, like, she's given people a very good reason to not like her, outside of her creative endeavors, but she's given people a good reason to not like her inside of her creative endeavors too. It's not like she's like writing amazing movies and also being the worst, you know, in the real world. Like she's writing bad movies and still being the worst. So it's like there's really no, you can't give her any credit anywhere. She doesn't deserve it in the first place. But even if she did, there isn't any to give. Because these movies are they're just constant reminders of how good they could be, and they intersperse just enough magical moments in between here and there that make you think, oh, maybe this will have as much magic as the worst Harry Potter, but it doesn't.
Yeah, I think I've like been wondering about these movies. Do they have like the like elaborate like set design or the great visual effects of the original series, or is it just, like, all CG stuff?
Let me tell you this real quick.
Is it like basically modern blockbusters, or does it have like some elements of like the older movies?
It's kind of half, because I'm just gonna give you.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna give you an example, and this is on the trailer, so it's not a spoiler, I guess. When they go to
spoil this movie, I don't really give a shit.
Yeah. When they finally go to Hogwarts in this movie, it feels so lifeless. Like it doesn't even feel like they're there, even though I'm pretty sure they were actually filming on a set, but it doesn't even feel like it. It feels like very like fabricated. Like it's lit really weirdly. It's almost like lit like and I don't want to beat or a fucking dead horse that we've been doing like for a while now, but like it feels like a Marvel movie at times. Like it just feels like fake, like nostalgia, but it's like fake, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's not going to blow you away the way Harry Potter did. Part of the reason that the magic of Harry Potter is so interesting is because it was filmmaking magic too. Like it's not just magic in the world, it's magic in the sense of how did they do this? How did they put this to film? Like it looks great. It looks tangible and real. And I think I do think, and I think that Secrets of Dumbledore actually does this better than both of its predecessors. I think it has moments where it feels a lot more tangible than most modern blockbusters. It feels a lot more grounded, a lot more real. Like it feels like they're, you know, shooting on location, or, you know, it feels a lot less slap a green screen and we'll figure it out in post, which is the way that a lot of modern blockbusters feel. And it still has plenty of moments where it does feel like that. Like Edgar said, the return to Hogwarts pretty much feels hollow most of the time.
Wait, so
both times?
I thought they went to Hogwarts in the second one.
Both of them.
But barely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? Because that was the main selling point of the trailer for the second one.
Yeah. Yeah. For some reason, this movie, and I remember if it happens on the Crimes of Grindelwald, but when they go to Hogwarts, it plays like the big like main Harry Potter theme. Like it's like this big big moment. But when they go to Hogwarts in Crimes of Grindelwald, it's like not. It's just like whatever. Like when we're here.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they played like the fanfare and everything in this one on the return, and it was like, I feel like a lot of this movie, Secrets of Dumbledore, it was like trying to course correcting, obviously, but also like trying to draw people in and be like, hey, remember Harry Potter? Remember Dumbledore? Remember Hogwarts? Like, you like this, remember? Which is why when they like blasted that music whenever they came back to Hogwarts, I was just kind of like, I mean, okay. Like,
it was like very try hard.
Feels hollow.
Actually, yeah, hollow.
Yeah. But again, you know, I will say, like, I think that there's a lot of moments in these movies, especially in this one, that I'm like, this looks more real. This looks more grounded and more tangible is the best way I can describe it, than a lot of other blockbusters that are coming out today.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it for that. It's not like the Batman, but it still has
But it's not
more
like
moments.
Lost City.
Yeah, it has more moments where you're like, oh yeah, this feels like they're there. This feels
Yeah.
real. It feels a lot more grounded. But anyways,
We can move on. We've talked too much. Fantastic.
Let me check my list. I watched a little. I don't know if you guys have seen this. A Tommy special on HBO. Gerard Carmichael's Rathaniel. Have you guys heard of this or seen this?
No, I think I heard it from you, but I haven't seen it. No.
Yeah, it's a really well done hour-long Tommy special about it's like one of those intimate specials I've seen. It's really well shot. It's directed by and edited by Bill Burnham, which is really cool.
that's neat.
Yeah, and it's about him is opening himself up to his fans and his family. Also, it's more like he comes out as gay in this special, and he like reveals his name. His Gerard isn't his actual name. It's Rothaniel, and I think it's like it balances the wall of being funny as fuck and also really endearing and really intimate, like and emotional too. It's really well done. I would recommend it.
Is this the one that you said that it was almost kind of like Inside, like those vibes, or was that another one?
It's more along the lines of an actual like Tommy special, like where he's on the stage talking to people, and as like Inside's like a fucking very edited like vision, you know. But I'd say it has the vibes. It's more like, like I said, it's intimate. It has the emotional impact of Inside. So I would recommend it if you like comedy specials.
I'll have to check that out. I watched. Do you guys know who Taylor Tomlinson is?
No.
She's so funny. She had a Netflix special called Quarter Life Crisis a couple of years ago, and then her new one just came out called Look at You, and I watched it. It was the same set that I got to see live back in October when she was in Orlando.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
She is so funny. I mean, like there's not a lot of women comedians, and
Amy Schumer erasure.
Another one I like is
I'll erase her all day.
Liza Schlesinger is a good woman comedian.
Yeah, I like her.
Yeah.
There's a lot, but also it's one of those. I think it's one of those. What's the word? It's one of those areas where there needs to be more. But I've seen a lot of people just be like, Taylor Tomlinson is the best working female comedian right now, and I'm like, no, she's one of the best working comedians, period. Like, you can just say that up front. She is hysterical. So if you like comedy, Taylor Tomlinson, she has two Netflix specials now. They're both
I'll have to watch them.
Really, really incredible. She's so funny. She's really good. But yeah,
I'm gonna go through a few real quick and stop me if you have any questions about them. What was it? 1, 2, 3. My fourth viewing of the year was Better Nate Than Ever, Disney Plus original.
This one has Joshua Bassett from a show being Preston Light, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
My one comment about that movie is that it wants to say the word gay so bad, but since it's a Disney movie, they can't. So yeah.
I actually saw that. Speaking of that, just before we decide, they're putting Love Simon the final season on Disney Plus finally.
Oh,
that's good.
That's cool.
Man, that movie's so good. The first one.
The first one, yeah. Or no, it's not Love Simon. What's the
Love
show
Victor?
called? Love Victor. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Simon's
But
movie.
that's cool.
Yeah, Simon's the movie. Okay, and then the second one after that was the Charlie. Wait, what was that? Let me see. The Channing Tatum movie. Wait, he directed this? What the fuck? The Dog.
He directed that?
I guess with co-directed it with who Ray Caroline, I guess. I don't know what the name is. Yeah, this is definitely a movie. There's a scene where he's trying to have sex with like 2 women, but the dog starts to like bark on the car, so he has to go outside and shut him down, and then a neighbor comes out to check on the dog, and they get on a fight, but the dog bites the neighbor. Best part of the movie. So yeah.
Haven't seen that movie, but it's a hot seller at the theater I work at with all the old people.
I heard that from a friend that works at AMC
Yeah.
too. That apparently it got pretty packed at some point. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But good for them, I guess. After that, I watch the new who is it? Richard Linklater movie, the Apollo movie, Apollo 10.5. The best compliment that I can give that movie is the animation. Like, even though I can see why some people might think that it's distracting because it looks like they painted over the actors. It looks fucking gorgeous. Like, there's some scenes like towards the end where they're like at a Disneyland park, and it looks fucking gorgeous. Like, it's astounding.
It's on my list. Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely put it
watch it.
on like a must watch list, because even if you don't end up like really loving it, which I didn't, I think like it's almost like one of those movies that's still like through chapters, and some are better than others, which can drag the movie a bit, but the animation is incredible.
Speaking of Richard Linklater, let me talk about this for a second.
Ooh,
I watched the Before trilogy for the first time last week. One of the best film trilogies I've ever seen. Just to put that out there. It's fucking incredible. All three of these films are so well made, and chemistry between Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy is incredible. It's some of the best I've ever seen in cinema.
Is it like a straight like
gorgeous?
Are they like straight like rom-coms, or are they like dramas?
They're like rom-droms basically, but there's some comedy in them too, and the writing is fucking incredible. The writing is amazing, and it's so natural. It's the way it's also the writing, but the way these two play their characters are just seems so real, and it is like, watch these movies if you haven't seen them. They're easily, some of them went to like my top films ever. Like, they're fucking amazing.
One of the reasons why I haven't really watched those movies is because they kind of sound like The Notebook, but like stretched out as a trilogy. But
it's not like as cheesy as The Notebook. It's very real and very like, basically, to put it simply, it's about these two people who meet and I forgot where, but it's in Europe for a night, have a night together. Then this is the first movie. Then they leave, don't have any way of contacting each other. Say they're gonna meet in the same place like 6 months later. Then the next movie, I'm not gonna spoil it, but like that's where it picks up. It's like about long distance, kind of like only having these one nights together, and it's about love. It's about humanity. It blew me away. Like, I love these movies so much.
Is it a Preston biopic? What?
But yeah, I watch these movies as soon as possible if you haven't seen them. They're incredible.
What's your favorite of the three?
I'd probably say the second one, Before Sunset. It's the ending is amazing. I love the ending of that movie. I don't want to spoil it for you guys, because like I did watch these movies, I didn't know anything going into them. That's probably why I love them so much. And yeah, they're amazing. Watch them.
Yeah. I'm gonna finish like my last movie before of the ones that I wanted to talk about real quick. Fathers 2.
Forgot you watched this.
Yeah, it was like watching Fantastic Beasts. It was for like a review assignment, whatever. Check it out. A lot of clear reviews. I'll say this about this movie: it's not as preachy as you would think it would be based on what subgenre it falls into this fucking like religious type of movies. It's actually it tries to be more of an inspirational movie than a religious movie, but I mean, it kind of feels like that because like you can't take Mark Wahlberg seriously as this character. Like, yeah, sure, he's trying his best as being a serious actor or whatever, but yeah, like there's so many unintentionally funny moments, and then there's some like where they're actually trying to be funny, and it's just like awkward. So yeah. Um, and then another movie that I think all of us have seen might actually be oh no, we talked about Sonic, but the other movie that I think all of us have seen is The Unbearable Weight of a Massive Talent. Nick Cage, Pedro Pascal. Uh, I'll say this about this movie. The last time that I watched a trailer for this, I was fucking pissed off because it was for our first watch between me and Josh
We watched
of
this
Everything
together,
Everywhere.
yeah.
Yeah, and they played like one of the final trailers, and it literally spoils like half of the movie. Like I didn't really know going into the movie that it was gonna be about Nick Cage infiltrating this like
Exactly.
criminal or whatever, and they spoil all of that in the trailer. But yeah, like it's a really funny movie. Maybe joke in 2022, the whole Paddington 2 bit.
Best part of the movie.
It's incredible. Pedro Pascal, he needs to do more comedy. He's almost kind of like striking me like maybe not the next Channing Tatum, but like, you know how the first time that people realized that he was a good actor was with like 21 Jump Street with like comedy. It's almost like that, but I mean, we've known that Pedro Pascal is a good actor, but like he's really
also
good at
like
comedy.
He's probably the best part of the Bubble. Also, like, he's funny in that.
Yeah,
as funny as that movie can be.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't go wrong with Nick Cage being Nick Cage in the most Nick Cage movie ever. So yeah,
that's what I was so impressed by. Like I think Pedro Pascal stole this movie. Like he stole the show. He was so funny the entire time. He had me in stitches so many separate occasions. And that, and I love Nick Cage in the movie, but it is really difficult. Like this had to have been the most difficult movie to like steal, if that makes sense. Like it's got to be so hard to be this movie is about Nick Cage. It's for Nick Cage. It's all about Nicolas Cage. It is the quintessential Nicolas Cage movie, and Pedro Pascal stole the show. Like that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. And I love Nick Cage in it. I thought it was great. I liked the movie quite a lot, but it's just like I was really surprised and impressed by like how good Pedro Pascal was in a movie that was so centered on a different character.
Yeah. Maybe also
it's fun.
You son of a bitch. Also,
I thought it was
like
good.
Maybe this is like the first time in a pretty significant time where I found like Tiffany Haddish funny again. Like I think she's a funny person, but like sometimes she's like really like over the top, and I think she was just like perfect in this movie, like level of comedy.
Yeah, she's one of those comedians / comedic actors who just has their shtick and sticks to it, and it works for some people and it doesn't work for some people. But I liked her a lot in this one.
I think she's been the best in After Party recently. She was great in that show.
Oh yeah, she's great in that.
Yeah. But this movie, I like this movie. It's a fun time. It's nothing special. I'm not a huge Nicolas Cage fan, so maybe that's probably why I didn't love this movie. But like Pedro Pascal's amazing. It's a fun, entertaining time, and Paddington 2 rights. I'll always have to love that.
Fuck that person, that critic that gave it a bad review so it wouldn't keep its 100% score on Rotten Tomatoes.
I know.
But who wants to go next? Who wants to share?
I can go. I saw Morbius.
Morbius.
That was this month?
That was this month. That was this month. What else did I see? I saw Coda. Absolutely loved it. It was the first time I'd seen it.
Here's a skip over Morbius. That's all you have to say.
I don't care. You don't know what I think. Coda was great. I probably wouldn't have given it every award that it won, but I do think that it, like, I'm not mad that it won it, that it won those awards. I can't be upset because I loved it so much.
Yeah.
So love that. Watched The Nice Guys twice this month,
Wow.
which makes 5 this year. One of the greatest comedies of all time. Ryan Gosling gives literally, I think, the greatest comedic performance of all time in that movie that I've seen. The greatest comedic performance that I have seen is Ryan Gosling in The Nice Guys. I could watch that movie a million times. And then Morbius. I watched Morbius. I'm like looking at my list. It's Jared Leto's just like staring at me in the poster right now. Morbius. What is there to say about Morbius that hasn't been said? I was on my phone in the theater, which I really don't do unless it's a do or die situation, and it wasn't a do or die situation. I just thought it was.
Were you the only one there?
I was in like the big Dolby theater, so I was the only one in my row, so I wasn't bothering anyone. That's why I did it. I wouldn't have done it if I was like next to somebody, but it was an empty theater almost because no one cares about Morbius. It was bad. There's just no plot. It's all vibes, and I liked the vibes. I enjoyed like the tone, and I think that the visual effects were really, really good. And I liked a lot of the cinematography as well. So I like the vibes of the movie, but that's all there is. There's no substance at all. It's just vibes, which is fine. The vibes are good. The vibes are worth 1 star on Letterboxd. But that's all there is. That's all there is. Just the vibes.
The only thing I've seen from this movie, I haven't watched it yet, but the only thing I've seen is the scene of Matt Smith dancing as a vampire. And I'm gonna keep it that way because that's good.
Yes,
it's fun. Yeah, that's you know why? Because there's no plot going on there. It's just the vibes, and the vibes are good. The Morbius vibes are good. Morbius plot, there isn't one. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. And the thing about Morbius that makes me the most flabbergasted is the post-credit scene, because and it leaked before the movie came out, and I saw it, and I was like, whatever, like it's weird, but okay. I thought it would somehow. I thought it would make sense after watching Morbius. It doesn't, like, at all. Like, because number one, like it ruins the Vulture's character arc from Homecoming, which sucks because Homecoming is so good and he's so good in that movie. But beyond that, like, if you were to not even think about that, toss that aside, right? Morbius as a character in his own movie the entire time just wants to get rid of his vampire side. Like, he wants to not be a vampire anymore. He's trying to stop Matt Smith's character from killing people, and he's trying to be a good guy the whole time. And I'm like, okay, yeah, like I can get behind that. No mention of Spider-Man the entire time in the movie, which again is fine. But then for the post-credit scene, for Vulture to just fly up and be like, I think it has something to do with Spider-Man. Let's go kill him. And Morbius is just like, I'm interested. Like, what do you mean? What? You've been a good guy this whole movie. You've been like trying to get rid of your vampire. What do you even mean? It makes no sense for either character, and it makes me so mad because it just like it ruins Vulture's arc, whatever. But it also, like, Morbius himself doesn't really have an arc in the movie. But if he did, it would ruin it. It ruins the very little that they did for that character is thrown in the garbage too. It doesn't make any sense.
I just know that they filmed that post-credit scenes behind Kevin Feige's back because
they filmed that thing 2 weeks before release, and then they leaked it on purpose. I bet you'll notice
I mean, the director just spoiled the whole thing on Twitter the week
So
before.
stupid. Michael Keaton is not actually in that second post-credit scene. He's only in the first one. The second post-credit scene is just his voice and the vulture. Like, they didn't have him on location at all. He did like a voiceover, and then they just put it with like footage of some guy in the vulture suit, CGI vulture. I noticed that. Like, he doesn't take his mask off at all. That made me mad too, because it just felt so half-hearted, the whole thing.
He was busy filming The Flash.
Ayo.
And
Be
who
careful
cares
from
about
those
that movie?
chairs.
I do.
God.
I care about Michael Keaton. That's who I
Yeah,
care
whatever.
about.
He had his chance.
You're gonna be the one person who likes that movie.
Well, I'm not the only person who likes that movie.
Okay, I can't imagine seeing Michael Keaton beating up people as Batman. Like, this
He's
is not
so
like a
old.
Have you seen Birdman?
this is not like a Ben Affleck sense where he's like fucking buff and he's like in his 40s, 50s, but like
No, he's old. He is
Michael
an old
Keaton,
man.
Who cares?
I kind of care. I kind of care. And also, it's stupid that the Flash movie is gonna have like not a lot of Flash.
We don't know that. There's two of them. Two guys in the worst in that movie.
It's dumb that they're bringing Keaton back and they're bringing Affleck back and they're introducing Supergirl in the Flash movie. It's like, just let it be the Flash.
It says it's Flashpoint.
bro,
What?
okay, here's the thing
It says
about
it's Flashpoint. The comic.
we know
Happens.
that it's Flashpoint, but like it's just a fucking excuse to get rid of the
I
Snyder
know.
stuff when you can just ignore that
yeah.
shit. Like, technically they've said that the Snyder cut doesn't exist in this universe, so and you just fucking recast Batman, Superman at this point.
Recast
It's-
it. Just recast.
Nobody,
And
nobody,
don't acknowledge it.
yeah. If JK did it, they can do it.
It's
I don't
dumb.
know. I love 89 Batman, so I'm excited for that.
I like Michael
Everyone
Keaton
else,
as
I don't care.
Batman. Everybody likes Michael Keaton as Batman. It's just gonna be weird though.
Yeah.
He's so
But-
old.
Who cares? It's weird.
I care. I'll try
Anyway.
not to care.
Anyway, switching from movies to TV a bit.
Ooh.
So I finished rewatching Stranger Things for the upcoming season 4. Man, I wish Netflix wouldn't just dump all of their fucking shows in one sitting for people to fucking binge, because like I love this show. Like, it's so fucking good. Even at its worst points, it's still kind of good. I still don't understand that subplot in season 3 where they try to make Billy hook up with Mike's mom. It doesn't even go anywhere, so I don't
Yeah.
understand it. But yeah, like, man, like the vibes, those
Mhm.
characters, like it pisses me off that I didn't remember half of what happens in that show, because
I can't tell you a thing that happens in season 2.
yeah. And watching season,
It's-
I remember really disliking season 2 after a rewatch. I still think it's my least favorite of the 3, but I still think it's better than I remember it.
Yeah.
That 11 episode, like it looks like they're on Chicago or something. I don't know where they are.
Oh, the side episode with
Yeah, the side
11.
episode, pointless. I don't know. Like, I know that they say
That's
that
dumb.
I know they say they did it for a reason, but like it doesn't even seem like they did it for a reason. Like, season 4 is like right around the corner, and none of those characters are.
Wait,
Like,
was
in the
that season
marketing.
2 or season 3?
2?
Okay. I thought it was season 3.
Yeah, and I don't see, if they're not in season 4, I don't see them bringing them back on season 5, because like nobody gives a shit about them. Like,
Yeah.
why bring them back if nobody's emotionally attached to them? But yeah, like probably my favorite discovery from rewatching this show again is just how much I fucking love David Harbour. Like, he
Mhm.
gives me such like Harrison Ford vibes, like that type of like charisma. Like, he's so fucking good as that character. Can't wait to see him again in season 4. Wish he had like better projects besides Stranger Things. I know that he's in Black Widow, right? That
He just
Hellboy.
got casted in cast in Cooper Wright's next movie. So that's cool.
Oh yeah. But
Cooper
I was
Wright.
thinking mostly about like how he was in Suicide Squad briefly.
And Hellboy.
Hellboy, which is
Who are we
sad.
talking about?
David
David
Harbour.
Harbour.
Who's in Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first
Which one?
one, yeah. The first one.
Really?
26,
He was like
26,
one of the intelligent or the
yeah. Politicians or whatever. I don't know what he
government people.
Yeah.
I did not even know
With
that.
Amanda Waller.
Had no idea.
Yeah, he's like barely in it though.
Yeah. He was also in that Johnny Depp movie, Black Mass or whatever.
Is that movie good?
It's incredibly mid.
I remember
But
watching the trailer for it.
the trailer is fantastic. It's like one of the best trailers like in the last decade. Like it's really fucking good. But that movie is just so forgettable. Like Johnny Depp is good in it, but other than that, it's really
Justice for Johnny Depp. That's what I watched this month.
I
A lot of
watched
that
a lot
trial.
of
A lot.
compilation videos.
Me,
Yeah, I didn't watch a lot of the edits, but I straight up like streamed it.
Really?
A lot of it. Yeah, because I don't, I don't fully trust Twitter edits and TikToks on this kind of stuff. Like I want to actually watch it
Yeah,
and
it's
know
true.
the context of everything that happens. I don't want to just like trust what the internet's saying. And I didn't watch it all, but like from what I did watch, the internet's probably pretty right about most things.
Yeah.
So
Her lawyers seem like fucking hats.
yeah,
he's a fucking idiot.
it's all a mess, and even if he loses, like he
already
did
won his career.
regain public. He regained public.
Yeah.
The public.
Yeah,
and that
definitely.
is probably what half of it was about. I don't think he probably cares more about that than the money, because he's probably going to start
definitely.
getting jobs again if he wants them. So
yeah. For me, that I know this is completely different from.
It's what we watch. It's not. It's on topic.
Yeah.
But like for me, that entire case is like probably one of the most pointless cases in celebrity history, because like all of the information that the public has been quote unquote receiving, it's public knowledge. We've known that for like 2 or 3 years. Like this is not new news. Like we've known this. Just because it wasn't televised last time, it doesn't mean that this is new. But yeah,
I think the whole point of it was for him to regain public trust.
Yeah.
So that he would start getting jobs again, and even if he loses, there will be like a public outcry if he loses, which is exactly what he probably wants. And I think I know there's been rumors of him actually being really difficult to work with on set and stuff like that, and like he may still be like we don't know any of these people. He might be not a good guy, but at the end of the day, win or lose, technically he's still won. He's getting what he wanted, public opinion, out of it, and I'm happy for him in that sense, because he's clearly been through a lot. I think the drug use, watching the way he talks about their relationship, and it's just like, it's very I don't know, it's a lot.
Honest.
And
honest, like genuine.
Yeah, and it's a lot. It's very I don't know. I again, and I think this is something I mentioned y'all in the chat, but like I haven't obviously been through anything like that to its full extent, because they were married for so long.
And actors.
And it hit these really high emotional, moments. But like some of the way that he talked about her, the way that he like referred to her, the way that he told stories, the way that he described where his mind was when all of this was going on, was just like, it hit home for me in a lot of ways, because of a relationship that I was in a couple years ago. And I just watching it, I was just like, damn, like because he could be a bad person. Who knows? He could be really difficult to work with on set. Who knows? Who cares? It was it's really sad to hear about all of that happening.
Yeah. The one thing about this case that kind of scares me that it will have like a double-edged effect on like public perception, I guess, is that now people are trying to like look at other cases and like point fingers like, oh, you were actually a liar. Like recently with the whole Evan Rachel Wood situation with Marilyn Manson, like how she basically she's described her relationship like very toxic, and how she was basically like raped on tape, which there's actually this whole on HBO if you want to watch it.
Is it out yet? I've been wanting to. It was at Sundance, right?
I think it is out, at least part one, because
it.
it's 2 parts. But yeah, basically now people are using this Johnny Depp case to defend Marilyn Manson from those accusations, and it's just fucking dumb. But yeah, like I mean, the internet is gonna internet, so there's nothing you can really do about that.
Speaking of Johnny Depp, something I have watched.
Pirates, finally.
Pirates of the Dead Man's Chest. I watched that this month.
Liar.
Fuck you, just kidding.
Damn it. That's on you. I mean, honestly, like that.
We're not.
I'm not hurt by the fact that you didn't watch Dead Man's Chest. You're hurt by that fact.
Okay. Hello, Tyler.
Tyler, my love.
Tyler, should I send you the StreamYard link? Do you want to join?
Here's something that we all watched that I would like to talk about. That we all watched this month.
I know what you're going to talk about, but let's save that for like the end. Let me just take one thing out of the way.
I was not. Here, what do you think I was going to talk about?
Is it the Noah movie?
No.
Okay.
No.
What? If you want, Tyler, to join.
It is not The Northman. We can talk about The Northman later.
Okay,
I'm talking about the greatest movie of all time, Ambulance.
Oh, I saw that.
Yes!
Bam!
Yes, Bayham. That's Bayham, baby. Dude, what just happened right now is Ambulance is the best description of Ambulance.
I put in drone shot.
I feel like we don't even need to talk about it now.
I love this movie. Unironically, I love this movie. Go for it. Go for it. Without this,
it's good.
It is the most enjoyable headache I've ever had in my life, and I would have it again. And it would give me a headache again because the score and the cinematography and Jake Gyllenhaal as a whole is just like all cranked to 150%. And somehow it's sick as hell.
Perfect feels good.
That surgery scene. Holy shit.
Which one?
Like it could.
The surgery scene.
Oh yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
I went into the movie thinking that it wouldn't be very good. Frankly, I went into it just thinking like, it didn't look very good at all. But I was doing this triple header, so I was just like, might as well. It's in Dolby, and I want to see anything in Dolby that I can, just because I love Dolby.
That must have been painful for your ears.
Is the best.
Crazy. It was painful because I have bad ears. It was a lot. But yeah, the whole time I was just like, this is the craziest thing that has ever happened. Like so many times during the movie, like I just multiple moments throughout the movie where I just was watching the screen. I just be like, this is the most batshit insane thing I have ever seen in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then 20 minutes later, I would be like, no, this is the most batshit insane thing I've ever seen in a movie. And it happened like 5 or 6 times.
Those drone shots are fucking incredible.
The whole movie is a chase scene. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a third act basically for the entire runtime.
The whole thing is the
Exactly.
third. It's so cool.
Yeah,
so
it's
cool.
a fun time.
I was surprised that they're not great. It's not a masterclass, but like the characters weren't terrible. They're kind of good. I like
The ending was kind of like ham and cheesy.
The whole thing is ham and cheesy. That's the point.
But like no, but like what? I don't know. That's true. Good
Did you
point.
really wanted all of them to die? That's the ending that you wanted? Or?
Maybe.
He wanted Rogue One in ambulance.
That
Was this
scene
very
was-
like over melodramatic? That's the word.
That's Michael Bay though.
All of it was. This is the whole movie.
But like, especially like the ending with like the music and like it's I don't know.
I loved it.
I
When
will say
everything
though-
else is cranked up to 150%, I don't care. Crank it all.
Yeah.
Give me
Like-
too much of everything.
It was a
This-
fun time.
This might be the first time in a pretty long time where I feel like the Michael Bay humor kind of works, because it never works. But for
Mhm.
some reason it works in this movie. Like that entire joke where they're making fun of the younger guy, like at the beginning of the movie. Like it goes nowhere, but it's still kind of funny, even though it's not. I don't know, it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
Also the whole thing about Jake Gyllenhaal having AIDS or something. I don't remember what he has. Like, what's the point of that joke? There's no point, but it's there,
It's one
and
of the most. It's one of the most unique. Maybe the most unique movie that I saw in the month of March. April is what I said. And what I
Yeah.
meant to say. Anyways, it's so crazy, and it was really, really something.
I'm scared right now.
Tyler,
what are you about to say?
Tyler, if you want to join, let's save that for last, so we can have Josh. We can give Josh something to freak about.
It's funny because when I was watching Ambulance, I had to register for the cast member previews for Guardians of the Galaxy, the new ride here.
Got red.
Yeah, so I was on my phone for not like I was paying attention to the movie 10 times more than I paid attention to Morbius, but I was like glancing at my phone to try and refresh the page to get like the registration page to load and all that stuff. So, and it opened right at midnight, and right at midnight was the exact time that the surgery scene started.
Yeah.
And so like when you're like it's like when Spider-Man tickets went on sale, or like Doctor Strange tickets, like when you're like you're refreshing free, like with just ferocity, just like, oh my god, I need it to load, and you're freaking out. Well, that's happening on my phone, and in front of me is the surgery scene, and I'm just like, I've never been so overstimulated and okay with it in my life.
You were basically a Asa Gonzalez character in that scene, freaking out about I don't know what I'm doing.
So much happening. There's so much happening, and I just it was exhilarating. It was exhilarating.
Probably one of the big reasons why I had a headache from this movie is not only because of the movie itself and the fucking like sound and what the fuck was happening.
It gave me a genuine real headache.
Yeah, me too. But I was sitting like okay, so I watched this movie like last month. I watched it like on an early screening on Mexico, so I could just cross the border whenever there's an early movie over there. I just go and come back, and I got to see like on section B. So I was like on the front. So that's another factor as to why I had got a fucking headache from this movie. But yeah, it was worth it. I had sushi while I was watching the movie. It was great. It was perfect. Go watch
it. Is so insane.
Yeah, they sell sushi over there, Josh.
Oh wow.
Mexican sushi.
Yeah.
Since Tyler wants us to talk about it a bit, Everything Everywhere All at Once, I saw it 2 more times this month. Masterpiece.
I watched it again
Every time.
one more time, and I was bullied into giving it a 5 out of 5 instead of a 4.5.
Yes.
I
I don't want to
need to go
repeat
see
my.
it again.
I don't
We
want
have
to
like
repeat.
a whole episode about it, and we talked about it on the last episode also on the A24 episodes. So
Yeah,
if you want to hear us talk about it, there's a lot of it.
yeah. I don't want to repeat
I-
myself, but that alley scene about what's his face fuck, I keep forgetting the names of the
Wayman.
characters.
Wayman.
There you go. When he's giving the speech about how he would have been perfectly fine doing laundry with Michelle Yeoh. Perfect. I didn't cry the first time when I watched it, but on the second time, tears.
Yeah. I really need to. I'm excited to. I need to go back and watch it again, just because. It's one of those movies that you watch it. It's kind of like, and y'all are gonna hate me for this before I explain it, but it's kind of like Spider-Man: No Way Home, and I will tell you why.
I get that.
It's just one of those things where like you watch it the first time and you're like, oh my god, like so much is happening. You're feeling so much you didn't expect to feel.
It's overwhelming.
To the point where you get out and you're like, what? Like I remember when I first watched No Way Home, I got out and I was just like, I feel like I dreamed that. Like I don't even know what to think of that. Like what do I even say about that movie? So Everything Everywhere, when I got out, it was just like that was so much that I wasn't prepared for.
What? Tyler, you didn't love it?
That is sad.
What a tragedy. How?
Josh is
I don't get
disappointed, but that's good. I respect your opinion, Tyler. It's good that you don't like.
I respect your opinion
Because
too.
it's you, Tyler,
Josh
I
won't.
respect it. If it was anyone else,
Josh-
I wouldn't.
Josh always has the objectively correct opinion on everything, as we all
Yeah.
know.
Only I am
The-
right. You
the-
don't.
The guy that hates on Sam Raimi is right. Yeah.
Yes, he's always correct about everything.
You know.
Anyway,
But Preston, watch this movie then. If you have an IMAX theater near you, it's an IMAX this weekend or this week. Go see
Everything
it
Everywhere is?
yeah, it's coming back to IMAX. Yeah.
before.
I never
Doctor
saw it in
Strange.
IMAX in the first place.
Well, it's only this week because there's nothing else out. So
I'm
go
gonna
see it.
look. I think they still have Secrets of
It was.
Dumbledore in IMAX or on me.
I think it was last week, but this weekend it's.
I will check
Everything
right
Everywhere.
now because I want to see it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have a kind of a crazy story. The two last movies that I watched on April. So last Thursday, I had a reservation to go to Disneyland, but when I got there to the park, the fucking reservation wasn't there,
Oh yeah.
and they wouldn't let me in because I guess they didn't like me or something. Like they were literally telling me you can't come in as like an entire crowd of like 20 people were coming out of the park. But
Yeah.
but anyway, so I couldn't just I went to Disneyland. I live in San Diego and I have to go to LA to Anaheim anytime that I want to go to Disneyland. So I was like, okay, so I can't leave. I just can't leave. Like I can't grab my shit and leave to back home because I mean, first of all, I have people with me, so they're actually gonna try to enjoy their day before they wanna go back home. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go to AMC and see whatever they're playing. And I did a double feature. The first movie that I watched that day was The Bad Guys.
I saw this yesterday.
Yeah, the next Spider-Verse, the next Mitchells. Yeah.
No.
Hey,
It's
you
not
can't
that good.
you can't disrespect the animation. I'm talking about the
Animation. Yeah, the animation is really well done. It's really unique, and the editing in some of those action sequences is really good.
Yeah, like
Everything else is all right.
it's a
it's
really
alright.
nice like throwback to like heist movies like
It's a
Ocean's
fun heist movie.
11. Yeah. Definitely more towards like kids. But I don't know. I had a fun time with the movie. I thought it was very by the numbers, but
Yeah.
The only thing that I'll say about this movie is that Sassy beats.
It's the closest thing you'll get to understanding furries. Just let me say that.
Yeah. Oh, well, uh, we said that live, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
No one will watch this. Who cares?
But yeah, so that was I guess Preston
Have you
commented
watched this movie?
on my
The
review.
Bad Guys.
No, I haven't seen The Bad Guys.
Also,
I
the
commented
fucking
on your review.
yeah, you said something about James Corden or something.
You said something about James Corden.
I did because the fucking villain of this movie looks like him and sounds like him.
Oh,
No, it doesn't.
It looks like him. It fucking looks like him. Go
It's
fucking
Richard
Google.
Ayoade.
I don't have anything against him. That doesn't mean that the fucking character design doesn't look like James Corden.
It's just a fucking guinea pig.
Google the picture, people. Google the picture.
okay. I am going to see Everything Everywhere and The Northman again on
Hell
Sunday.
yeah.
Speaking of the Northman, the second movie that I watched that day was the Northman. What a fucking
talk about
experience! What a fucking experience! It's so captivating. It's so immersive. It's I don't want to say this because it sounds like an insult to the movie, but it's really not. It's like the Green Knight, but for dummies. Hey, I don't mean it as an insult. The fucking movie is great. Come back here.
But yeah,
I know that
it's
you want to
really
talk
good.
about this movie. Come on.
Okay.
I guess
Yeah,
you're not
this
coming
movie,
back.
it's fucking, yeah, it's really well made. Robert Edgers is I think he crafted one of the best like medieval revenge stories like I've ever seen.
One of the best
Um,
medieval epics, I think, like
Yeah.
in a long time.
Exactly. Wait, what the fuck?
There you go.
If you want the dummy to come back, just let me know whenever
Come
dummies
back.
are allowed back on this show.
Come back, my beloved.
But Alexander Skarsgård, holy shit.
One of the best physical performances that I've seen in a long time.
Such a good transformative role and performance.
You forget that he's a Skarsgård.
Yeah.
He was so good. He was so good. I mean, the way he delivered, like when he is on the hill and he's like, "And I am his vengeance," like chills. I was just like, "Oh my god, it's unbelievable."
I didn't really think this on my second watch of the movie, but on the first time, I kind of thought that the first act kind of dragged a bit, but like on the second viewing, it fucking flows. It's so fucking good.
Yeah.
Like the way that not only the characters and the storylines, but the way the world is set up. It's like it feels like very like alive. It feels very like you're actually in there, like with the characters. One of the that when it actually happens, and I mean this is not a spoiler because it's in the trailer, but when Ethan Hawke's character died, that entire
It's
sequence.
Hamlet, you know the story.
Yeah.
That's what inspired Hamlet.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
No, like actually, that's
Yeah.
true. Like the legend inspired Shakespeare to write Hamlet. That's why his name's Amleth. Shakespeare just took Hamlet and swept the H around.
You mean to tell me that it didn't came from the Lion King?
No, that was the first one.
But yeah, this movie is fucking awesome. William Dafoe, even as a voiceover, he's fucking incredible. Nicole Kidman, like the
Oh my
fact that
God.
the fact that Nicole
Our
Kidman,
the queen of our show, she was
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
incredible in her like one like bid scene.
yeah,
Oh my
the
God.
fact that she's not gonna get any recognition for this movie, but she got recognition for like being the
Biopic
Ricardos.
shot.
It's a fucking
Yeah.
crime because she's like you remember that scene, like it's gonna stay with you like for
Mhm.
the rest of the year. Like you're it's like
It
one
was
of those
really good.
big. If she was nominated for an Oscar, that would be like her big like clip moment.
I just want y'all to see this while I'm getting this ticket. That little red dot. Can you
It's
see?
empty. It's an empty theater, huh?
That's me.
It's for Sunday though.
Yeah, I know. At 9:55 p.m.
That's sad. That's a perfect seat though.
Yes. Anyways, Nicole Kidman, great. Speaking of Nicole Kidman,
I think
and-
some of the best sound. I still want to touch on Northman for
go for it.
one more thing I want to say.
Yeah, no.
Some of the best cinematography and sound design
Oh yeah,
I've seen this
Yeah.
year, easily.
the score is so good.
And the stores,
Yeah.
yeah, store is really good.
Like I know,
But
like
there's some really good one shots in this movie.
A lot of
Holy
them.
shit!
There's a lot.
yeah, watching
Those are
that
fast.
that interview about Eggers and Skarsgård breaking down the scene for, I think it was for who was it, Variety or one of those fucking outlets. The one they're breaking down the scene for the opening like first act, where they're like when we're first introduced to like Skarsgård, like the older version of Hamlet. Like how like, the precision of that, just that one shot it's so fucking good. Like it's such a sim. You
Yeah.
would think it would be like a pretty simple shot. It's just like a dolly shot, and then it goes to like a one shot, like a single shot of like Skarsgård. But like how long it took them to just get that, like that shot is fucking incredible. And I really want them to release like the concept art for this movie, because the way that he described it is like they basically like they're like storyboards. He described it like almost like as a graphic novel because of how detailed it was.
that's
and,
cool.
and you can tell like on the finished product. So yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Preston, what were you to say about Nicole Kidman?
Well, I was just gonna throw in that I also watched Moulin Rouge.
Yeah.
Hey,
I really
Fantastic.
enjoyed. Yeah, I liked it a lot. It's my mom's favorite movie, so she'd been like begging me to watch it for a long time.
was that your first time?
Yeah, it was my first time watching
Watching
it.
Wow.
I had like no idea what I was getting into.
One of the horniest movies I've seen.
It was, yeah, I had no idea, but it was good. It was one of those
It's
movies
really
that I was
good.
like, this is a lot, and like movies that are like just so much spectacle is really hard to pull off, because it's hard to nail the characters in that as well. And
Baz Luhrmann, that's what he does
yeah.
best.
yeah, he killed it. But yeah, I watched that. I thought Nicole Kidman was great in that movie.
Yeah.
She was awesome. But yeah, back to the Northman. I remember, similar to Ambulance, there were multiple times in the Northman where I was like, this is the dopest thing I've ever watched. I was like, this is so cool. This is just like, the whole thing is just fucking cool. There's really no other way to put it for me, like to distill it into like one way to describe that movie is just like dope as hell. Just cool.
Yeah.
Like just everything that happens is just like, that's dope. That's cool. Like it's just so, I don't know. It just was very, just the whole time I was just like, it's so unique and so interesting in the way that they go about it all. Yeah, I loved it.
I'm curious, what's your guys's favorite shot of like singular shot of the movie? Because for me, like the one that I keep coming back to in my mind is that I think it's after he gains the sword. I forgot the name of the sword, but like when he's like putting it like on top of the hut, and then the sun starts to rise, and it's like a silhouette shot kind of Skarsgård. That like probably is my favorite shot of the entire movie.
Yeah, that's good. Mine is when after the years later flashback, when it's them rowing on the boat. It starts in the jungle and just meets them and sits on the boat and zooms in on him rowing. It's really cool.
I liked the entire final battle. Yeah, when they're in the lava. I thought that was really well shot. It was really beautiful.
Yeah, my friend on my second viewing, after the movie, he was like, "Didn't you get like Battle of the Heroes vibes?" And I'm just like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah."
totally. Okay. Another film I just wanted to talk about real quick. If you think Ambulance was a fucking insane movie, Preston, you need to watch Climax. This is I rewatched it this month. One of the most batshit crazy movies I've ever seen. It's by Gaspar Noé. It's an A24 film. It starts off with a I think 12-minute one-take dance sequence.
Oh wow.
It's about these French dancers having a party like at night. And someone spites the punch with LSD.
Oh wow.
And it starts with them in the euphoric state. Then it cuts to a 45-minute one-take sequence where it's follows everyone as they experience a nightmarish trip. It is fucking insane.
That's crazy.
It is incredible, and it's so technically well made. It is amazing. Definitely
Yeah, like
need to watch that.
I that's on my list. But yeah, like for that last week where we did the A24 episode, I rewatched 2 A24 movies. The Norseman for Smart People, The Green Knight, and Lady Bird.
Nice.
Man, I love The Green Knight. It's a fucking good.
That's amazing.
The entire
Preston doesn't get it.
I will try it again someday with subtitles. I bet I might like it more with subtitles. Because one thing I remember about The Green Knight is like, because of just the way they talk, I was not put off by it, but because sometimes I am not good at hearing things, I remember like not fully comprehending what had just been said. But if I could like read it as they say it, I might like it more, and I might understand the story of it a lot more. Because I know that was a really big issue for me, the first and I guess only time that I've seen it.
Kind of shocked because like the first like 30 minutes of The Northman is kind of like that with that type of like dialogue, at least like
the
first.
No, there was a little bit. I wasn't sure if I was gonna be all in on The Northman for a little bit. I was like, I am not sure how I'm feeling about this. Just kind of like the same thing. I was like, I don't know if I'm like engaging with it as much as I want to or connecting with it, I guess. But eventually it very much roped me in.
A film like that, similar to that I watched for the first time this month is The Witch, Robert Eggers' first film. And it's fucking disturbing. It's like unsettling as shit. But like, yeah, the dialogue I just couldn't really get into because I'm dumb.
Yeah, Among Us, the movie.
Honestly, like Anya Taylor-Joy is amazing in that movie. The vibes are great. I respect it, but I don't love it.
Yeah, she's great in The Northman too. Probably the heart and soul of that movie.
She's really good.
Definitely, yeah. And you would think like going into that movie, and even as you watch it, that the heart and soul of the movie is gonna be Nicole Kidman, just because of what the plot tells you that it's gonna be. But then it does like that switch halfway through, and it's so good. But yeah.
So to end it, I guess I want to talk about 2 big TV shows that returned this month.
Yeah, I think
First, I rewatched Russian Doll season 1 in preparation for season 2. Season 1 is fucking a masterpiece. I love that season so much. The direction, the cinematography, the writing. Then I watched season 2, and it's still really fucking good, but it's a bit more messy. But it's also a bit more ambitious with what it's doing.
Yeah,
which I respect it for that. Huh?
I said Euphoria.
Honestly, yeah.
I haven't seen Russian Doll. It just sounds to me like you're describing Euphoria.
Honestly, I didn't think about that, but it's not a bad similarity. Yeah.
Yeah, like again, like how I was saying with Stranger Things, as I was rewatching that show this month, pisses me off that I don't really remember these Netflix shows after a while, which doesn't really happen with other like services.
Yeah.
Like I remember most of the HBO shows, and it's because of the like week to week.
Week to week.
Yeah, but yeah, watching season 2 of Russian Doll, and I didn't rewatch the first season because I just didn't have time.
Yeah.
I was very lost at times because again I don't really remember season 1 a lot. I remember loving the hell out of it, um, but yeah, like I felt very lost at first,
Yeah.
especially because this season does a very different thing as opposed to the first one, because the first one is about like dying and coming back
About
and
the
kind of
Groundhog Day.
yeah, it's
yeah.
almost like learning how to love your life in a way, at least the first season, and then the season 2 is more about like generational trauma
Yeah,
about
it's
what
time
you
travel is the big
yeah
thing this season, and yeah, it's like
yeah
generation trauma, which is the big thing in Hollywood right now.
yeah I will give season 2 kudos for being more risky in that
Yeah.
sense, but I thought it was good. I don't think, if I'm having a hard time remembering season 1, and not because it's not good, but because in a while since I've seen it, I think I'm gonna have a harder time remembering season 2 because
I think also is because it does something. It deviates so. Okay, for at least the first episodes, it deviates so much from the first season.
yeah,
And
like
there's some things that like I don't like they sidelined Alan kind of, which
yeah,
is kind of dumb.
it
And they
it almost
didn't
feels
explain a few things, but yeah, we're just
it almost feels like a completely different show at times.
yeah.
Which
I
it can
do
hurt
love
it.
the Indian though. I don't want to spoil it, but the Indian's really good.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the first show that I'm pretty sure you wanted to talk about, and I think
Yeah.
the second show that you wanted to talk about is Barry.
Barry, HBO. Yeah.
Uh,
Season
Barry,
1, rewatch that.
yeah,
at your
I
time.
rewatch season 1 and 2 as well. Maybe if Succession didn't exist, I would probably say that Barry was my favorite HBO show that I've seen so far.
I haven't
Or-
seen Succession, so I'm gonna say it is.
Yeah, but yeah, Barry is just like so fucking incredible. Just like, do you okay, Preston, do you know what Barry is? Do you know anything about it? Have you seen it?
Bill Hader.
Yeah.
That's it. Can I pitch you the idea of what the show is?
Preston, you
Yeah.
love this show.
I've been
He-
interested in it for a while. I
Just to
you've
see-
never watched it.
Just to see if I can sell you on it. So it's basically about this ex-marine who
Mhm.
turns into a hitman, and he has a contract that he has to kill this wannabe actor. So
And this is Bill Hader?
yeah, Bill Hader, and he has to infiltrate his target's acting class. But as he's doing that, he realizes that he falls in love with the world of acting, so he wants to become an actor and leave his like previous life behind. So that's like the plot of the show. But like something, the thing that I love so much about the show is that based on that synopsis alone, you can immediately like tell like where the comedy can come from, but like not really like the drama. And the drama in this show is so fucking good because it can be very dark at times.
Yeah. It's one of the most surprisingly one of the most intense shows I've seen.
Yeah,
People's Breaking Bad levels, honestly.
yeah, like the way that the show explores Barry's like experience with like PTSD from being in the Marines, the military. It's incredible, and it's probably one of the best unlikable protagonists in a while, in the sense that you can tell that this guy is a good guy deep down, but he does terrible things, and you keep rooting for him to do what's best for himself and for the people that he loves, but he keeps fucking up, and it's so fucking frustrating, but in a good way. And that's kind of like the fun of the show, I guess, like seeing him like making these like morally questionable decisions, but still being able to like root for him. And Bill Hader is not only incredible in the show as Barry, but like his directing.
Yeah.
That episode with the little girl in season 2. Oh, incredible.
Ronnie Lilly, great
Yeah.
episode. But that scene, I forget what episode it is, but when the scene between Bill Hader and Barry and his girlfriend, like the acting scene where they have to perform or rehearse the
The monologue, yeah.
yeah, you know what I'm talking about, dude. That scene
Yeah,
is fucking incredible. Like
Yeah, the
both
one
of them are insane.
Yeah, the episode where it ends with the ex coming back, right? That's the one that you're talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah. It's really fucking good.
Mhm.
And everybody in that show is good. I
Mhm.
forgot what her name is, but the girl that plays Sally,
Sarah
she's
Goldberg.
Goldberg, something like that.
Yeah.
Amazing. And Henry,
Yes.
what's his last name? Winkler or something like
Yeah.
that. The heart and soul of that show. Besides Hank, of course.
Anthony Sheridan, Noho Hank is one of the best television characters of all time.
Yeah. But
Preston,
season
you need to
3,
watch this show. You need to watch it. You'd love it.
Yeah.
I will look into it soon. Right now, I'm watching Our Flag Means Death.
Ooh, how is that?
What-
Wait, let's
what's that?
let's finish Barry real quick.
Okay.
Yeah. Last thing about Barry, season 3 seems very promising. I have no idea how this is like maybe the penultimate season. I don't know what the final season is gonna be, but the fact that they're already working on season 4 it's just giving me like I'm scratching my head because this already feels like the end, like the beginning of the end for Barry's arc. Like it feels like the point of no return just from the opening scene.
Yeah,
alone.
I have faith
So-
in it though, because like this premiere was fucking incredible. Like one of the best episodes of the series so far. It's so good, and that one shot in the studio, you know what I'm talking about, Edgar?
Yeah.
It's so good. The ending, of course. Like I'm so
Yeah.
excited for where season's going.
Yeah, like my biggest fear again with the whole like unlikable protagonist is that he's gonna do two terrible things by the end of this season that are kind of foreshadowed by visions that he has throughout the episode
Yeah.
to two people that he
Oof.
holds very dear to his heart.
Oh,
And
man.
if that happens in this season, my god, it's gonna fucking
I don't
it's
know
gonna
how that
break.
would happen this season though. I'm sure that'll be like the season 4 thing, but we'll see.
Yeah.
This show's amazing. So Our Flag Means Death. I've heard great things about this. How's it so far?
I like it. I like it a lot. Full disclosure, I have not watched any of the episodes sober. But it's one of those shows.
This is the Taika Waititi pirate show, right? The gay
Yeah,
one?
and he's just
Oh, it's
about to
that?
show up. Well, it's not gotten gay for me yet, but I know that it's
Oh,
supposed
sorry.
to.
That's all I've seen
I already
about
knew
it.
that. Yeah. It's good though. The character writing's really well done. It's fun, you know, because like really the only pirate media, if you will, that I've seen is like the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, which are these
Really?
massive. I mean, what else is there?
Assassin's Creed 4.
That
talking
show
Movies
show,
and TV
Black
shows.
Flag.
I didn't say Black Flag.
Peter Pan counts technically.
I guess. My point is that, you know, I was very used to like Pirates of the Caribbean, which that original trilogy is Dead Man's Chest and At World's End specifically are two of the most expensive movies ever made. And it shows because it's like you're so immersed. And this is like Our Flag Means Death, obviously totally different thing. A lot of green screen, kind of cheesy, but that's the point. And so at first I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. Like I just kind of like almost like expected Pirates of the Caribbean like quality, I guess, just because I hadn't seen pirates in live action in any other way, I guess. But once you like see what the show's doing and like realize what it's doing, You start to like it a lot. And I'm only 3 episodes in, but I've really enjoyed it, and I'm starting to like get a lot more engaged. It's a bit of a slow start, but I think because it gives itself, it's one of those shows that like, because it is slow, because it is a gradual build up, whenever you reach the point that it's going toward, which I'm not even there yet, but whenever you reach, at least from those first 3 episodes, whenever you reach the point where you realize what they're doing, where you realize why characters are the way they are, you appreciate it more. And the main character, his name is Steed Bonnet, and he is just, I want to look up who plays him.
Yeah, this show's on my list right now. This and Severance are like the 2 big shows I need to watch.
Rhys Darby
Rhys Darby
plays Steed Bonnet. He's been in something else. I recognized him from something else. But like, he's just so
oh, he's in What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah, he's so endearing. Like, he's just such a like, his character is just so wholesome. It's so wholesome. It's just heartwarming. It makes you feel good. So basically, he's like, I won't spoil anything, but basically he is like this proper Englishman who wants to be a pirate captain. So he assembles a crew and gets a ship, and he's out on the open seas. But he's never done murder or crime or any pillaging of any sort. And he's like this pirate captain now, leading these pirates on his crew. But he's like kind of a snowflake, if you will. Just kind of, that's the word that comes to mind. Just kind of like a sweetheart. And it's just, I don't know. He plays it really well, and the writing is really good. And Taika hasn't even shown up for me yet.
Oh, wow.
Taika, he doesn't show up until later in the series. He's like teased for the first couple episodes. He's teased.
Interesting.
I think the next episode is when he's like fully in it in the show, which I'm maybe gonna watch tonight. But and I kind of appreciate that too, because he's obviously the biggest star of the show, but he's not the main character. And they really they get you invested in the characters and in the main character before they even bring in Taika. So yeah, I've really enjoyed it. It's very, very heartwarming. Makes me happy. It's one of those shows
Sounds fun.
It's fun to watch. Yeah, I like it.
Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about before?
We can talk. I'm sure we will talk about this on another episode. But last night. I finished my rewatch of Doctor Strange. And that was cool because I hadn't seen it in a while. And it's still, to me, like, it's very unique. It's a very unique movie in terms of like
The
comparing it to the rest of the
Inception.
MCU. Yeah, it is. It's different. And I appreciate it a lot. I do think that Sam Raimi and Doctor Strange as a character, I think that that's a match made in heaven, and I'm so excited to see what he does with it direction-wise.
Color grading.
Yes, so good. But at the same time, Scott Derrickson did a really good job on this movie, and I really appreciate it. And I am a little bummed. I'm excited for Multiverse of Madness because of all the, the eventness of it, if you will, the multiverse stuff. I'm excited for the scale of it all. But I'm also a little bummed that it's not going to be as
Scott
linear of a continuation of the story from Doctor Strange. I think that's probably why Scott Derrickson left.
Probably, yeah.
Because, there's a very clear path on what he wanted to do with the character and what he wanted to do with Mordo and what he wanted to do going forward. And I think that it seems like he probably didn't want Wanda in it at all. But then I bet Feige came in and said, hey, we want Wanda to be the villain. Or the antagonist, or a variant of Wanda. Who knows? But I digress. I'm a little bummed that we're not going to see the planned continuation of it. but at the same time, it's one of those movies, especially with how formulaic the MCU can be. It's kind of cool to see. I feel like it is different. And it was interesting to me because as I was looking through a lot of people's thoughts on it and reviews on Letterboxd, after I watched it, a lot of people's biggest complaint, like multiple people that I'm friends with, their biggest complaint was like, it's very MCU, like it follows the MCU formula. And I was like, I don't know that it does. Like it maybe is similar to like Iron Man, in some ways, but I wouldn't compare it to other MCU origin stories. I wouldn't compare it to the first Avenger, and I wouldn't compare it to Thor or a lot of other MCU solo outings. I think it's really unique in a lot of ways, and I really appreciated that. I think it's one of the more underrated MCU movies. I didn't move it at all on my rankings. I thought I was going to whenever I finished, and then I looked at my rankings and I was like, actually, it's right where I want it.
Where do you have it?
16.
I think I might have it a lot higher, but I don't remember.
That sounds not very great, obviously.
There's also like 30 projects right now.
And Marvel just has such a good track record, like Marvel, for all the shit people give them, they have consistently made good movies, some great, and even like their worst movies are still pretty good, or not pretty good, but their worst movies, there is something to love in all of them, and there aren't many bad movies at all. So yeah, I have it at 14.
I have it at 21. Let's do the show.
I wouldn't put it that low. But I don't know. I really liked it. And when I finished it, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to bump that up a few spots. I really liked it. And then I looked at my list and I was like, I like it where it is. But no, I think it's I have it right above, and this is again something we'll discuss later, but I have it right above Captain Marvel. And I think that there's a big gap between 14 and 15 for me. I think there's a big gap there. But yeah, I liked rewatching it. It was neat and interesting, and I'm excited for Sam Raimi, but I liked the story that they told in the first one.
But Preston,
I'm glad that
there's an extras in 4 shots. How could this be a good movie?
What did you say?
Oh shit! I forgot you were off Twitter.
He doesn't know.
Yeah, he doesn't understand it.
What?
Yeah, he doesn't understand.
There's this spot where like a clip they released of Multiverse of Madness where in 4 edits there's the same extra running in the same position, like as the scene goes along.
I'll send it to you later.
Okay.
And Twitter is freaking out about it.
Yeah, they're all acting like it's the end of the world or something, even though it adds more personality to the movie.
This is why I left Twitter. This is why I'm taking a break. It's because everything is the end of the world on Twitter, and I got tired of it.
But going back to like the whole Scott Derrickson thing, not to spoil things obviously, but from the things that I've seen, read, or whatever about this movie, it makes sense why he left. Also, even though like it kind of bums me out that he had to leave because of creative differences or whatever, but I'm very excited to see what he does with his new movie, The Black Phone. That looks really fucking cool.
That's really good.
Yeah, and people have already seen it and said that it's pretty good. So yeah, I'm excited. He's doing well. So
one more thing I want to touch on before we end. Barely have watched it. I started watching the first episode of Under the Banner of Heaven, the new Andrew Garfield FX series.
Mm-hmm.
With
possibly his last thing in quite some time. Allegedly.
A month.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. What do you think of it?
It's pretty good. The cinematography is nice, and he's amazing in it. It's about Mormonism, so it's kind of hard to get into.
About what?
It's about like it's a murder. I don't know. I've watched like basically 50 or 40 minutes of it, so I'll probably save most of my thoughts on it for the May episode. But like so far, it's pretty good.
Yeah. What else? Oh, not for this episode, probably for another episode. But I'm very excited to eventually watch, maybe by the end of this month or in May. I've heard a lot of buzz about this movie. It's a Netflix movie, came out like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It's called The Ritual. Apparently, it's a pretty good creature feature. So yeah, I'm excited to see that. And Barry season 3, how that develops.
Yeah.
We're gonna do prequel trilogy commentary
Yes.
pretty
The
soon.
next episode is probably to be our Phantom Menace commentary. So tune in for that.
It's celebration of Star Wars Celebration and the Attack of the Clones anniversary. So
Yeah.
you gotta join us for Attack of the Clones. Your favorite movie?
Yeah,
At least for
I
that.
will. I love
Yeah.
it. I love
We're
that
gonna
movie.
have a few guests for these, so stay tuned.
Lovely.
Yeah, that's basically it. Unless you guys have something else to touch on.
I think I'm good. I think I touched on everything that I watched this month. So yeah.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Okay. So fun discussions, fun episode. Preston, where do people find you?
You can find me on social media at Preston Seymour. That's Preston C, the letter more, not Preston Seymour, the name. It's the letter. There's been confusion. Twitter, Instagram, anything else. I'm really tired. That's why I'm so dead talking about this, and I sound very monotonous. But that's where you can find me currently off Twitter until Multiverse of Madness, because I know that if I get back on Twitter at this point, I'm just going to want to delete it right after critics see it. So I'm just going to keep it gone.
There's
Definitely, they
there's
put out
already-
something.
Yeah,
They put out a TV
spoil-
spot that has a shot that I
I-
did not want to see.
I did see that actually.
Oh,
So, well, that's fine. But yeah, I am. That's where I am, and I'll be back on there whenever that movie comes out. And I'm on Instagram as well. And that's it.
Cool.
sounds good.
Edgar, where can people find you?
You can find me at this. Where is it? Here at this at EDG or Tech on Twitter, Instagram, I think. You can find my work on. I'm gonna be reviewing Barry every episode for the next 7 weeks that they're left of the show. Every Monday, the day after the episode airs. So be on the lookout for that on Loud and Clear Reviews. But other than that, go ahead, follow me. I need people. I need clout.
We all need clout. Yeah, I'm Josh. You can follow me at Josh D. Woodbury on Twitter. And follow the podcast on at WHFG Podcast on Twitter. Check us out if you're somehow watching this for the first time. I doubt it. But who knows? So our future episodes, commentaries for the prequel trilogy, all of next month. At some point, we're going to do a Star Wars Celebration retrospective and preview, because we're all going there. So we want to talk about it. And I'm sure next month we'll do what we watch in May. So tune in for that.
That's gonna be a wild one because everything that's gonna come out on May.
Yep. That's basically it. Unless you guys have something else to say.
Peace, people, and go watch Amber Heard be humiliated on public.
Watch Ambulance and turn your speakers up to 100 when you do it. That's all.
And go watch our Queen and Savior, Nicole Kidman, and the Northman.
Yes, please.
And you'll literally see. That movie will literally give you a sensation that makes you go, hey, heart rate feels real good right now.